Hi guys, just a quick video to show you new options on RM-Tuner. So here, like before, it's the place where you configure the size of the tables by putting the number of RPM sites and load sites, and also where you choose the alpha N or speed density fuel algorithm. And obviously the axis is going to be scaled for kPa or TPS percentage, right? This is for the main tables. So all the bigger tables are the AFR table, the VE table, ignition table, the VVT tables, and all of those the bigger ones. If you use the Primis, you know what I'm talking about. Um, all of them share the same size and the same axis values until now. So now, apart from the main one, you're gonna have another option for an alternative shared configuration. Okay, so you can configure two configurations that you can then later assign to each one of the tables. Okay, so this is the second one, the alternative one. Here on the load source, you can select one of these variables. Okay, so the first one will either be alpha N or speed density, so according to your fuel algorithm. Then the second one, that's going to be pre-configured. You can select one of these variables that are here on the list. Then if you go next, here you have the secondary shared axis. So you can select for a fuel table if you want the main one or the alternative one. So imagine the main one will be this one that you have here, that you select prior, and the alternative one will be this one. Okay, so whatever you select for ignition table, lambda table, intake, and exhaust VVT, you can select between those two. For the V table, you have a second option. Okay, for now it only works for the V table. On the future, will work for other ones. So if none of those two options is good enough for the V table, you can select a third one here from one of those variables, and you also have the secondary V table where you can select one of those. Okay, so they will apply when you select one of these pre-configured ones. You will then select here, and they will apply either to the primary or secondary. But for the V table, you can select, for example, the fuel table, the V table, the main one, and then in here you're gonna keep the shared table, which is that, and the secondary you can put something like intake air temperature or coolant air temperature, whatever you want for the secondary table. Okay, so on the future we're gonna have all of these available as well. So another thing that we have now is on the CAN settings. You can activate the bit fields, and you can configure something like a bit from one of the bytes to change something like direct control, which will be like a 1 or a 0. The inverted, which is the opposite, toggle on rising or toggle on falling, which is basically a press button. So you press 1, and when it changes the status according to the status that you want to trigger, either on rising or falling, it's gonna change. And then the control, you can switch the fuel table between primary, secondary, the lamp, the ignition, and so on. So all of these tables can be now controlled by CAN. You can switch them by CAN, and I'll show you just quickly. So here is the primary table, and you can then select, for example, the secondary, and it will change between them. As you can see here, the secondary is by pedal position, and the load is at the moment by map, which is the fuel algorithm that is configured.